customer sent me a check. Feel like I'm gonna have to balance my checkbook. Make sure you use green pens for the deposits. They wrote me a note. That's going on the fridge. We'll put this with all the other customer stuff. They love me. Morning roundup. We do have a shark. Slight complication. The mouth cone thing came loose. I'm thinking when we changed out the filaments, maybe it skipped a layer on that part. I don't know, I was trying not to. Overall, this does look quite good. You know, came out basically perfect. We probably have enough filament to finish this. It might be a little close. It's a little hard to tell because I re-sliced it and it's gonna be a little different. But yeah, the mouth on the inside may come out a little weird, of course, because of this. But I think it's salvageable. I've had this happen like a time or two before, and usually we can get some kind of result that isn't just completely horrible. Considering how nice it's going to look on the outside, would probably kind of make up for whatever strangeness this results in. Basically what you do when the mouth cone comes loose like this is you kind of use the heat gun and push everything in so it still looks smooth, you know, inside, and it looks like the pictures basically. I don't know, we'll see. I've obviously never printed a shark on this, so I don't really know what it's going to do once we start getting in the higher layers, but I think we'll get a result that's alright. So that's pretty exciting. This machine, it's like the only machine that just will always make D20s. So we're just gonna keep this thing making D20s. And we've got the coffee lid. The last one messed up kind of early on in the layers, but I think it's doing good. Here we've got a very nice Sharky. We're just churning out the guitar octos. I think we're going to make some of these in advance too, because we're definitely going to sell like a bajillion guitar octos. Might as well have a few made up. We're making a whole bunch of ukulele hangers over here. We've got quite a few to ship. The holdable coffee came out good. And of course we've got the chestnut printing over here since the other printer was being so unhelpful. And happily, very nice, David. Came out real good. These micro Swiss extruders, man, they're legit. We got another one of the Creality direct drives. So admittedly, it's a small sample size, but these two printers, that one and that one, have the Creality direct drives, as you can see. And they've been kind of like the most reliable ones, honestly. I mean, the micro Swiss are good too. So we got another one. And this is the final hope for this printer. We've tried the micro Swiss and it acted weird. We tried this thing and it didn't really print right. This is the last hope. I really want to get this guy working. We need every single large printer we've got operating on all thrusters, but if this doesn't work, we're giving up, because I can't just spend forever trying to get this thing to work. So yeah, but the good news is, I mean, these things print nice. This is like just as good as the Creality, as the micro Swiss extruders, although over the long run maybe less reliable because it's not all metal. But I do recommend these a lot. These have been real good. Here's a good opportunity actually to illustrate the thing I was saying about the big sharks with this little shark. Imagine, you know, like the mouth doesn't extend all the way down. What you do with the heat gun, I don't want to get my hand trapped in here. You kind of heat the back of it and then start curving it in. So it's just like, it really looks about the same, you know, except this white you're seeing back there is the bottom, not just like kind of the inner cone. You can make it look good, basically, is what I'm saying. If we don't get a good enough result, we just wouldn't ship it to a customer, obviously. But, you know, there's some artistry that can be done with the heat gun. So, a pretty good morning roundup. drinking that coffee from yesterday. Put it right in the fridge when I was done. So good. We got to package a couple things, so let's do that. All right, we've got a very nice orange Guitar Octo D20 can. Very nice white David. And an Einstein. And the Big Cheese. And a very nice white David again. Just checked the status of the plastic shipment, and it's not going to be too bad. It's probably going to be in the middle. I'm going to say maybe the 15th, 16th, something like that. So that's manageable. We are officially out of plastic. The foil is empty. We have a couple more days of plastic to turn into filament. We're going to be just gliding solo. We're going to be gliding in a unpowered flight for a couple of days, but it's kind of fine. We're just going to make the bare minimum of stuff that we need to make, and then we're just going to produce like crazy once the big shipment gets here. I don't know what got me thinking about this, but it's amazing how often you can win debates just by like listening to the person debating you. What I mean is, like, let's say they lay out position A, and position A is undergirded by a certain principle that would just have to be their principle if they believe that. It's astonishing how often, you know, they'll lay out position B, and position B has a principle behind it that contradicts position A. Like, that's one of the most underrated debate tactics, is just figure out what the principles are behind what the other person is saying and be honest about it. Don't try to straw man them. And then just notice that this thing contradicts this thing. Like, so often that's the case. And then it gets really fun when you kind of point that out and see the mental gymnastics they're going to go through. Which, listen, sometimes you learn something. Sometimes you realize there is some principle that dictates both of these things. But it's amazing how often there isn't. Almost anything that's rooted in collectivist thought basically is that, because groups that are trying to agree on everything or have some sort of doctrine are not doing this by definition in a reasonable way. As Nietzsche said, madness in individuals is rare, but in groups it is the norm. Anytime you're trying to make a group cohere, you're almost always going to get like weird contradictory stuff. And honestly, like, I'm not a full-on traditionalist or anything, but this is kind of why tradition is important, because to some extent traditions weed this out. Eventually it's like these contradictions start bumping up against each other, and these things kind of sort themselves out to some extent. But anytime you're trying to do a new version, a new type of group cohesion, you're almost always going to get something really contradictory. It's pretty much exactly what you're doing in science. It's like trying to create a new group ethic or something like that. It's like a hypothesis. It's like, will this work? Does this make sense with reality? And like, hypotheses are fine. Sometimes you discover something that's really good and true, but a lot of times just iterating that over time is going to make you realize this idea you had was kind of stupid. Hopefully you learn something from that, and then the analog here for tradition is you're doing that over and over again, and then we just kind of figure out the things that sort of work. Obviously there are times where the tradition is wrong, but that's the whole Chesterton's fence thing. Anyway, I don't know what made me think of that. I guess I was listening to debates recently, but yeah, it's amazing how good a job, how much of an offensive tool it is just to listen to people. It's amazing. Oh man, there was some guy just staring and staring at me in there. I think he may have recognized me from a product photo or something. About to be Memorial Day. Lock the taskbar, lock the taskbar. The only band that matters. Oh. Trying to print a roll. It's a long way to the top if you want to print a roll. Well, let's just pretzel our way out of here. This is it. This is our Megiddo. This is the final battle. If we can't get this hunk of junk working, it's over. We're not screwing with this infinitely. Tools of the trade. We're gonna let this heat up and everything, but I kind of have a good feeling about this. These extruders really have been pretty good to me. So this is the first time we're trying it with an S5. Hopefully we can make it work. Well, here's a little aspect of the business that I haven't really talked about yet. You know, I'm always taking the Allen wrenches around, and so I made a little container for them. And this was like an old candle that I freezed the wax out of. And I started putting little parts in the container. And this is the container now, as you can see. It has a lot of the little fiddly things that one needs when doing printer maintenance, but it's gotten to a place where it's just crazy. Like, it's actually pretty hard to find the part I need. So I was at the dollar store a little bit ago and decided to get this. Just a $1 organizer. I mean, I could have 3D printed one, but I like these, you know, transparent. Don't have to design all the little latches and stuff. This is nice. So yeah, we're going to turn this into sort of a mini toolbox. Organize the bolts in some way that makes sense based on the amount of compartments we have. I guess I have to think about it. And also one of these long container parts, we'll put the Allen wrenches in. We typically don't need the really big Allen wrenches, which won't fit in there, so that kind of works out nicely. Small Allen keys, hex wrenches, whatever you want to call them. Large hex wrenches. Small pieces of PTFE. Small screwdrivers. Wrenches. Large screws, like this. Long, skinny screws. These kind of screws. Random extrudery things. Spacers. Washers. And bearings. And stop nuts. Small screws. Medium screws. There we go. Let's not spill this. Took kind of a long time, but honestly, it's just so much better. I can finally just find the thing I'm looking for quickly. It's probably gonna matter for Christmas. Here we've got a piece of cake. So far, this extruder is doing quite well. Let's just hope it keeps it up. It'd be great to have another lieutenant in the army. Moai. Funnily enough, this very strange cop movie duo, these guys are going to Qatar. Yes, Doha, Qatar. Packaged extra good for Middle Eastern travel. Confirmed. M3 is taking Qatar money. And we've got our copper guitar octo looking awesome. We got another Moai. And we got a couple of uke hangers. And a couple of talons. Very big David can. And we've got our coffee. It's official. First day, turning on the space heater. Oh yeah. We got a whole bunch of comments in the Discord. Join the Discord, link below. Chihuahua of the day. Ambassador Naranek. I've been ill for a while, getting better at the moment. Can I get a who's your daddy and what does he do? Mike, D22 #1022. I think I just call him Mike normally. Hope it works this time. It's always a challenge to tune a new printer, but once they are locked in, it's usually repeatable. That's why I stick with just a couple printer models. Yup, that's exactly what I do. I know everything about reality printers. I know what they're thinking. I know what size boots they wear. JT, J-Tree reporting in. The unit on the side is a buffer, similar to the one on Bamboo Lab printers. It keeps extrusion consistent by reducing drag through the long filament path and also includes tangle detection. If it senses too much resistance, it'll pause the print so you can untangle the spool before continuing. Just to add icing, it also has a filament runout sensor. Once it runs out, it'll pause the print. You can then load the next spool and hit resume. We haven't done that yet. Maybe we'll actually test that out at some point. As for speed, you can comfortably push that printer at least twice, possibly 3 times faster without losing quality on those larger prints. Just bump up the temp a bit if you do. Yeah, that's like the next thing we're going to do. We're going to try and figure out the optimal speeds. Looking forward to the first D20 on it. Very good input. Yes, that's going to be the next thing we're going to make, D20. M. Hussey rocks. I would try with a more precise filament to ensure the machine is tuned right. Actually, the filament's it's been roughly within the specs of professional off-the-shelf filament. Maybe slightly more deviation, but it's been, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the colder weather or something. For some reason, it's just super consistent lately. And something was smelling warm and I freaked out, but it's the space heater. I'm just not used to it being on. J-Man shared a pretty cool video about flow rate calibration tests. If you want to see that, join the Discord. HVF Designs. I think this is a new commenter. I vote, don't worry about speed. I vote, if it prints a full shark time after time, it'll be a bigger win than a few extra millimeters per second. Yeah, well, we're gonna try and find the sweet spot between those two things. We're just gonna increase the speed a little bit. Nothing crazy. Maybe I'll try and look up stuff about, like, if we increase speed by like 25% or 50%, about how many degrees do people usually bump it up. I'm thinking 5 to 10 degrees, something like that. Unholy Orders 82. If the new Soval works out, you considering getting another one and updating more of the broken down Creality printers? Yeah, probably after Christmas. Maybe we get 1 or 2 more. I don't know. We'll see. IAGMR. I think that's a new one. I'm seriously looking at the SV08 Max for the farm. Have you considered spooling onto 2 or 3 kilogram spools? Since you make your own filament, that Max is going to push a lot of plastic. Maybe you didn't watch the episode. The spools are already 2 kilograms. And 3 kilogram spools, I can't consistently get diameters that are usable on 3 kilogram spools. There's about 15 different designs that I iterated for the spool. You're looking at spools that are like darn near perfected. Red's 3D printing. Do you have Clipper on those large Creality bed slingers? Nope. I do not like Clipper. I mean, I guess Clipper is on the new Soval, but generally I'm not that big a fan of it. Guy the Jedi. Orca is a fork of Prusa. Orca has a built-in profile for the Soval UDU. I'm glad we had this talk. Yes, I actually used that. The built-in profile for the Soval is the one that created the half gigabyte Shark G-code file, which was just crazy. So I don't know why that would be. Maybe I did something wrong, but I just used Prusa Slicer and it's actually doing pretty good. Prusa Slicer is a weirdly complex slicer, but I find once you kind of learn how to use it, there's nothing that you would want to do that it can't do. Maybe there would be like, there's probably some kind of like special infill that it doesn't have a setting for or something if you're just really picky. But it's got tons of kinds of infill. It's got like everything. But it is like you gotta know your settings and like tweak things and just really get it the way you want before it's gonna play nice. The Reasonable Gentleman. Someone should make music with the servo motor noise from 3D printers. A symphony of servos, if you will. Cheers, M3. I was really trying to think of a pun with servo and like some composer's name. The symphony could be The Barber of Servoil. It's about as good as I can do. JP Letty. Hopefully we get to hear the Soval Shark is complete and looks magnificent. He's not quite done yet. Probably will be done by tomorrow morning, so check that out. I knows picking. Would you think a 3D printed wall-mounted pipe rack would sell? Yeah, it's an interesting idea. Some of the earliest products I made were pipe racks, you know, like crazy looking, interesting pipe racks, but they didn't sell. Like, they didn't sell at all. Although, I guess technically speaking, my Gandalf pipe holder and some of the other ones do sell sometimes. I guess that's a pipe rack, but it's more of a character pipe rack. But yeah, it'd be interesting. If the pipe thing was doing super good, I'd be making wall-mounted pipe racks and iterating in that way, but I made a dozen of them or something, and they just weren't like that great. So that's what you do. You just try enough of a thing that it's like you're kind of seeing if there's any hunger there, and if there just isn't enough, you move on to your next product category. Usually. Maybe there's some kind of exceptions, but you give it a shot. If it doesn't take off, probably try something else. Well, that's probably about enough for today. I am quite sore. Oh yeah, I got a message. I think the filament is going to be here in 3 days, which is nice. Like 5 days is kind of a lot. 3 days, I think it's supposed to be, what is it today? Monday. It's supposed to be here like Thursday, I think. Hopefully it will be. But yeah, we're really going to have to just make even more filament every day. Like, we're just going to have to start earlier and go later, because we just need to have so much more. But things are trending in the right direction. That really problematic printer that we looked at earlier, it's been printing very well this whole time. And I'm just hoping that Creality direct drive extruder is going to be the thing that makes it work. Oh, but yeah, that's about enough for today. Ugh, what am I grateful for? What am I grateful for? I'm grateful that the Sharky's printing. That Sharky is printing admirably, and we haven't even really tweaked the settings and stuff, so once we actually tweak the settings and get it really dialed in, we're probably going to get good results from that. Real good results. I also like that I get to use Prusa Slicer with it, because I just know how to like modify a lot of things. Like, Prusa Slicer has this, I forget what it's called, but it's a setting for making the top layers of something thicker. It's not just the top layers, it's also like the angled surfaces. I don't know. Basically, it's so customizable that even if I want to make the models come out a little different, we'll be able to do it. So yeah, the fact that it's already printing admirably basically means that we're definitely going to be able to get it ready for Christmas, and that means it's going to be a power player in the Super Bowl of printing that is to come. So I'm feeling very, very grateful vibes, and I'm feeling pretty grateful for my space heater. It's starting to feel a lot better in here. Let me know what you are grateful for. What interesting tidbits about your life do you want to share with the class? What interesting things are you printing? What are you going to do once you join the Discord via the link below? We love to read the comments. All you got to do to be in the gratitude gang is be grateful for something. We drop goodness every single day. You guys are the best. Thank you for coming along on the journey. Peace out.
Stay around you. I can't say what I need. It's blinding our lessons. I'm seeing to believe. Standing in a moment, what has been is cast aside, frozen there as time rode. I know that you must have died. Everything I need. Oceans, and we're all going to die. So leave me something precious, another sunlight. Lions surround you. Open up your light, time to say a Wiedersehen.